Hey, what's going on everyone? My name is Mikey, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about my recent trip that I did to Iceland. I was fortunate enough to actually go there on vacation with my friend Abhinob. We were there for 5 days. We did some crazy things while we were there, being heliskiing, snowmobiling, we went horseback riding on a black sand beach, and we also had the opportunity to visit the Blue Lagoon. In this video, I'm really just going to be explaining that trip, putting some clips that I took from there, the drive while we were there, and really just include this for my own memories. If you guys are interested in hearing more about this vacation, definitely keep watching for the rest of the video. I'm gonna take you guys through a step-by-step process on what I did every single day. So without any further ado, let's get started with the video. On day one, this was a Thursday. So the trip lasted from Thursday up until the Monday. We actually left YYZ, which is the airport in Toronto Pearson International Airport. Our flight was around 7:45 p.m. When we got to the airport, we were actually able to get into the lounge. So the lounge is something that you can actually get access to either by being first class or business class, or with your major credit card, a major credit card you have like American Express, you can actually have free access to the lounge. Over time, this actually racks up and saves a lot of money, especially because you get free food in these lounges. So that's kind of why I always opt to go to these lounges. Now the flight itself was around 5 hours or so, but because we left at 7:45 and there was a time change between, Canada and Iceland, or rather Toronto and Iceland, we actually landed at 7:05 a.m. Although it was a 12-hour difference, the flight itself was only 5 hours. Now we actually wanted to sleep the whole flight because our day was fully packed on the Friday. And this brings me to the second day, which is day 2. Right when we arrived in the airport, we wanted to get out as quickly as possible because we actually had a tour booked for 10:30 a.m. at the Black Sand Beach, which is around 2.5 hours away from the airport. Keep in mind, we still didn't get the rental car yet. So we were rushing, trying to get to the rental car place in Iceland as quickly as possible. In Iceland, actually, they don't have a mask mandate, which was really nice because we didn't have to wear a mask for the whole time we were in Iceland. So we were able to get the rental car, and I have some clips definitely of the drive to the Black Sand Beach, which was around, again, 2.5 hours, 2 hours and 45 minutes away. The thing with Iceland, they have this one road that really connects you throughout all of Iceland. It really covers the whole map. And oftentimes this road is a single lane, but it has gorgeous views. And that's what I really liked about being in Iceland, is that you could be driving north, south, east, west, and you have totally different views. Some areas it's snowing, some areas it's raining, some areas there's no snow at all. And you guys will definitely see in this video where the climate changes very quickly while you're actually in Iceland. So we got the rental car, we went to the Black Sand Beach. Now the only way actually we were able to get to the Black Sand Beach was because of Google Maps. Before I actually left, I downloaded all the offline maps for Iceland because I knew I wouldn't have had data when I got to Iceland. I wouldn't have had a phone plan there. I needed to ensure that I downloaded the offline maps so when we get there, we can essentially get around in Iceland before we both get these SIM cards. Because again, like I told you, we were in a rush to get to our tour. So we made it on time, and I'll put some clips right now of the actual Black Sand Beach and how absolutely beautiful it was. The reason why it's actually black sand, I asked the tour guide, and she said basically it was because of the erupting volcanoes that have happened over the past centuries. The excess rubble that comes from these erupting volcanoes ends up actually going to the shore of the beach, and that actually is what creates the black sand. Once we finished the horseback riding, we went to a very cool coffee shop that was inside a yellow school bus. It was actually really cool, a very cool idea, and we just got coffee for our drive back. And that essentially summed up day 1. We checked into our hotel, and we really just, laid low for the rest of the day. Then day 3 comes in, and this is one of the probably more exciting days. Day 3, we woke up really early because we had a snowmobile tour booked. We woke up at 8 a.m., got ready, ate breakfast. Breakfast was absolutely amazing in the hotel. I always make sure that whenever I go to a hotel, or my family goes to a hotel, or me and my friend go to a hotel, that there's always free breakfast because that does save you so much time. We started our drive to the snowmobiling place. Now, the reason why I keep saying we started our drive is because everything in Iceland is, I would say, far apart, and it's very important that if you ever go to Iceland that you actually rent a car. And in our case, that was very key. It was very important because transportation is very hectic if you want to go all around Iceland, and I'll even explain later when I talk about heliskiing and how that itself, just to get there, was also such a mission to get there. So on our 2-hour drive, there was actually some complications that took place, and that was when really, I guess we got a bit scared. So around an hour in, my friend Abhinob, he was sleeping in the passenger seat, but the AC stopped working, like the heat stopped working. So he woke up and he was trying to figure out why is the heat not working. We tried to figure it out. I wouldn't say I'm a car guy myself. I don't know much about cars in terms of, the reason why things stop working, but he knew a lot. He actually found out that the engine was overheating overheating. I think it had no coolant, we were low on oil. And if you look at the engine temperature in the car, it was actually very, very hot. I took a video of it, I'll show you guys right here, but it was very, very hot. So we knew that we needed to figure out this problem out. Once we actually found this out, we stopped the car, checked it out, and it was a case where there was no coolant and we were very low on oil. We were around 1 hour, 45 minutes away from the snowmobiling place. So we thought we'd try to get there and then make the call and call the rental car company. Luckily, we were actually able to get to the point where we were 5 minutes away, but then the engine fully shut down. Like I was driving it, I was pressing on the gas and it wasn't accelerating at all. So we stopped the car fully turned off, nothing was working. We opened the hood and the engine was straight flaming. I guess it was kind of unsafe to drive while the engine was very, very hot, but we were in a rush, like I told you, because we needed to get to the snowmobiling tour by 12, and by no means were we gonna miss that snowmobiling tour. So we got to the place, we called the snowmobiling place and told them what happened. They said they would come pick us up, and then we also called the rental car company and they said they would actually bring a car to us even though we were 2 hours away and meet us there after the snowmobiling tour is done. Thank God everything worked out for that. Now the snowmobiling tour itself was absolutely phenomenal. In order to get to the snowmobiling place, we took these basically monster trucks. It was a lot of transportation in order to get there because the snowmobiling tour was up in the glaciers. The glaciers is essentially a large body of ice. We were snowmobiling on that large body of ice because it had a lot of snow covering it. We got into these huge red monster trucks that had tires literally almost as high as me. It was honestly such a cool experience because it was kind of like you're off-roading, but in a coach bus with like so many other people. So it was a really fun experience. So we got to the place where we were doing snowmobiling. It was around 900 meters above sea level, and the whole experience of snowmobiling was amazing. We dressed up in these cool suits. I think I was wearing orange, my friend was wearing yellow, and we had these cool snowmobiling helmets with cool goggles, and we were a group of maybe 25 people. How it works is you essentially get training on how to use a snowmobile, and then you snowmobile 30 minutes into the glacier and you go explore this really cool area inside a glacier, and then you stay there for 30 minutes, an hour, and then you snowmobile back. Now snowmobiling, it was actually very scary, I would say, because it was very hard to turn. Okay, I wouldn't say it was actually scary. It was more like exhilarating because it was very hard to turn on these snowmobiles and you could actually flip if you don't take caution. And that was the case with us. We almost flipped because oftentimes we would be trying to turn, and as we're trying to turn, we're either increasing or decreasing speed, and then we turn and then try to turn back, and the snowmobiling gets really, I would say, unstable, and that could cause us to flip. And we almost flipped actually a couple times, but it was really cool at the end of the day. It was a bit cold, of course, but they supply you with everything. Like I said, the helmet, the goggles, the suit, so all your stuff doesn't get dirty, even though our shoes were fully drenched with water because of the snow. The snow itself was actually very deep. It was like, 2 meters or so, but under that 2 meters, like I said, was all ice. It was all a glacier. And then once we finished the snowmobiling, we came back again on that huge red monster truck, and we got back and we were actually able to switch the car. They brought the new car for us, which was great. I guess it was nice of them, but again, they should have put more coolant and oil, or at least check that beforehand so this issue didn't happen. But I mean, can't complain. Everything ended up working out. So it was like 6 p.m. now. Keep in mind, our day started at 8 p.m. We already drove 2 hours, had all these struggles, and now we needed to drive to the North Fjords, which is North Iceland, and that's where we were gonna go heliskiing. But the drive itself was 5 hours and a half. It was starting to become nighttime, and there was reports of a big snowstorm that was supposed to be coming in. So we needed to leave as quickly as possible. So we started our trek to the North Fjords. On our way, we stopped at a great pizza place because the place we were actually going to, like our hotel area, had no restaurants that were open past 9 p.m. I'm not sure why, but that was the case. So we stopped at the pizza place and then we kept driving. We ended up actually getting to the hotel at 11:15 at night. This was super late. We actually arrived while the superintendent was about to leave. So if they had left, we wouldn't have even had a place to stay. Again, thank God everything worked out. We woke up really early on day 4 after we got there. We actually woke up at 6 a.m. Having slept at like 12:30, we slept like 5 hours and a half after driving almost 7 hours the day before, which was a lot of driving. We woke up at 6 a.m., had some quick breakfast, like cookies, crackers, water, and coffee, and then we actually made our way to the heliskiing place where we went heliskiing. Now, for those of you that don't know what heliskiing, that's essentially where you enter a helicopter, they take you to the top of a mountain, they land the helicopter, and you essentially ski down that mountain. Now in Iceland, there aren't a lot of ski resorts, but there's a lot of mountains. And I'm actually gonna be talking about heliskiing and the whole process of it. And that was kind of the core reason why we went to Iceland, to do heliskiing, because it was gonna be such a crazy and unique experience. So again, we were making our way to the heliskiing place. These roads were very narrow, I would say, and they were on the mountains. Even our drive the night before, it was really scary because it was at night. night. Our headlights weren't working very well, and it was snowing at some points. Honestly, it was really scary because if you crashed, if something bad happened, like knock on wood, no one could really find you, I would say, because they don't even have an army in Iceland, for example. So it'd be very hard for someone to, I'd say, rescue you or to help you out, especially if the crash is fatal. Thank God again that nothing bad happened. Now we're back to, again, like I was saying, on day 4, we drove to the heliskiing place, which was 2 hours away. We got there around 8:30 a.m. That's when we started our whole heliskiing journey. In heliskiing, in the company called Viking Heliskiing, honestly, great company, great hospitality, great service, amazing people that work there. Really just amazing people. We were one of the first people to actually heliski that year because the season is from March to early June, and we were one of the first treks up the mountain, which was, I guess, really cool because they were as excited as we were to go heliskiing, the ski tour guides. So they give us our own skis, and these skis are called K2 skis. K2 skis. Now, K2 is actually the best company when it comes to skiing and snowboarding for the gear that you could actually have. And that's why I didn't bring my own skis. It was because I knew that the K2 skis were going to be there. Each of these skis could range from, $1,200 to $5,000 just for one set of skis. And the same goes for the snowboards, not even including the boots that they provide for you. Once we finished this whole process of getting our skis and our snowboards, they actually took us from the ski barn, which is a place that they have the skis and stuff, to their, I guess, base camp where you take off in the helicopter and they actually train you for situations that could take place while you're actually heliskiing. Some of these situations is avalanche training and anytime you're stuck or you're lost. This is intense training that is required, especially if you are going up in an area that is not a ski resort. And that's why they really emphasize safety and ensuring that you are secure whenever you go heliskiing with them. Each of us had a bag when we went heliskiing, and that bag included a shovel, a probe, which was like this long stick that could help you find people if they get stuck under the snow, if there's an avalanche that takes place, and this other, I think, a transmitter so that people can find your location, again, in the case that you are lost or you are stuck under the snow. They also taught you how to board the helicopter, because in order to go into the helicopter, you need to be ducking, making sure that you're not hitting the propeller. There's a lot of safety that goes into this process, and they want to make sure you're as safe as possible when it comes to doing a dangerous activity like heliskiing, where there could be places with ice, steep hills, rocks, areas that don't have snow over them, and if you ski over them, you could get injured. There's a lot of risk involved, so they want to mitigate as much risk as possible to ensure that you have a great experience, which was the case with us. We honestly had such a wonderful experience. I have a video actually showing you guys what is inside of these orange and bright bags that we have to wear on our shoulders. We strap in here, we strap in at the bottom. There's also a strap in that comes through your legs to make sure this bag really never falls off of you. There's also a parachute in the bag. That way, if you are falling under an avalanche, you pull the parachute, and maybe it won't help you go in the air, but that gives more surface area for someone able to find you if you actually do get stuck under snow in the case of an avalanche. Definitely a kind of scary experience. I told my mom I was going skiing, but I didn't tell her that I was going heliskiing. Again, thank God everything worked out. It was such a really fun experience. But with the heliskiing, we were actually one of 4 groups. So there was 4 groups total that were there, and each group consists of 4 people with 1 ski tour guide. How the whole process of heliskiing works is essentially the helicopter fits 6 people, the pilot plus the group of 4 people plus the tour guide. How it works is everyone is kneeling on the ground, but in order to get into the helicopter, everyone takes a knee except the ski tour guide. The pilot lands the plane, the ski tour guide takes all the skis, puts them in the basket that is outside of the helicopter, while the 4 people in the group actually enter the plane, and then the ski tour guide goes in the plane, the pilot goes, drops those people off on the top of the mountain, then returns, takes the second group, does the same for the second, the third, and the 4th group, and by the time they drop off the 4th group on the top of the mountain, the first group has reached the bottom of the mountain, picks them up, drops them off the top of the mountain, and continues this process the whole day. There's around 8 or 9 full runs where you go to the top of the mountain to the bottom. That happens 8 or 9 times a day. Each run is roughly 15 minutes because there's areas that is really steep, but there's areas also that it's kind of like, really nice and scenic, and it's really nice and enjoyable. We were actually next to the water as well, which was absolutely wonderful. I think there's over 80 or 90 mountains there, so there's so much flexibility on where you could ski. And if you get lost, you get lost. Like, you can't find someone. So the ski tour guide always the first one going down, and we always follow in like a line formation with like a distance of, I'd say, 10 or 20 meters between each person, just in case, someone falls, you also don't fall with them. Not like off a cliff, but like if you fall like down or something, or like you can't make a turn and you fall, then, not everyone, I guess, goes down with them. We also had lunch midway. I don't think I recorded clips from lunch because I was really cold, but they brought us lunch to this really remote area in the mountains where we literally sat on the snow, and they brought lunch with coffee and drinks and orange juice. It was a really, really nice experience. If you guys have the opportunity to go heliskiing, I definitely recommend doing that. Iceland is the #1 destination for heliskiing, or at least that's what I found online. But heliskiing can be really done anywhere. Iceland, Whistler, which is in British Columbia, Finland, Norway, Austria, Switzerland, France, Italy, Japan, Chile, New Zealand, Australia. Anywhere with a major ski resort, you could definitely do heliskiing. America, Utah, Colorado, so many places that you could do heliskiing. And if you ski or you snowboard, I would definitely recommend, you know, looking into heliskiing. It's like a once in a lifetime opportunity. It's not something I'm gonna do every year or even every 5 years. It's something that I just wanna do once, and that's basically it. That was the whole process. We finished this whole heliskiing day at around 6:30 p.m. and then we made the 5-hour drive back to Reykjavik, which is the capital. A lot of driving took place on this trip, and this was not an easy drive, being that we woke up at 6 a.m. We were awake for a while. Heliskiing is very exhausting, and then we made the 5-hour drive back. But again, very scenic, tough roads to drive in, but very, very super enjoyable. We stopped at a gas station on the way. Their gas station there, it's a hit or miss. Either they're huge or they're very small, and there's like 2 pumps. And gas was expensive there. It was $3 Canadian per liter, which is a lot of money. We spent like $500 or $600 like just on gas while we were there, but definitely cheaper than how much it would have been if we used, you know, transportation, being that there isn't even public transportation. You have to arrange private transfers or like a coach bus going to a specific location. So if you're there, I definitely recommend renting a car. Then we went back, checked into a new hotel called the 22 Hotel in Reykjavik. All these hotels, I wouldn't say were expensive. They were all in the $100 per night range, but they all include free breakfast. Like I said, I had some pizza that night. I ate pizza a lot actually. And then now it comes to the last day, and that's day 5. This was the chillest days, and really all we did was we woke up, had breakfast, drove to the Blue Lagoon spa. Now, I didn't record many clips from the Blue Lagoon, so I'll definitely include some pictures of the Blue Lagoon in Iceland, but it's such a really nice place to go to if you are in Iceland, and very, very relaxing. It was raining a lot that day. You could see from the clips that I have of the drive and of me myself, I'm literally drenched. But when we got there, the Blue Lagoon itself is like some massive hot tub, and it is blue because of the silica and all the minerals actually inside the Blue Lagoon. And that's what really made it such a really nice experience, because it was so unique. They give you a face mask, you get free drinks while you're there. You get, I think, 1 free drink. You can get a bathrobe, towels. Like, it's such a really nice and calming and really relaxing experience. That's what we did on our last day. And then later we went and dropped off the car at the rental car place, and our flight was at 6 p.m. We flew back to Canada. This was essentially my Iceland trip. I really hope you guys enjoyed hearing about it. I definitely enjoyed going on it. I'm making this video for 2 reasons. 1, so that I can keep it for my memories, and 2, so that you guys can also enjoy and see some of these clips and maybe even go to Iceland yourself. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Take care and take it easy.